Today we're looking at a Thrunite model. This is the Neutron 2C version 2. I recently showed this in one of my other videos when I was in the car talking about flashlights and stuff. Had a couple requests to do a review on it. I was going to do a review anyway. It's a really interesting light. How you see it right now in its smaller package, this uses a single 18350 cell. Now that is a battery that most people are not familiar with. So most people will use this in the longer version, as do I, using a single 18650 lithium battery. So we're going to talk about that right off the bat in the beginning of this video. This smaller form factor may be a little bit deceiving. This needs an 18350 to run like this, okay? Now an 18350 is about the size of a CR123. However, from my experience, a CR123 will not power this light. You need more energy, okay? Now that being said, this light comes with an extension tube, okay, which 99% of you are going to use. So we take our extension tube, put it onto the body. Now we can power this light with an 18650, which more of us are familiar with. Okay, make sure positive's up. Okay, so basically you have a couple different options as far as powering this light. With the extension tube that is provided when you get this light, you can run it on one 18650. You can run it on two CR123s or two 18350s. Without the extension tube, with the shorter package, you can only run it on a single 18350, not a single CR123. Confused yet? Well, don't be. The gist of this one is, for most people, the extension tube is going to be a necessary piece, especially if you have a bunch of different flashlights. You're running mostly on CR123s and 18650s already, excuse me. You're not going to be going out and buying 18350s just to power this light, okay? So more people than not will just run this in the full package like this with the extension tube. Just want to get that right out of the way in the beginning of the video to talk about it a little bit. I know it seems a little confusing. Basically, it was designed originally around a less common battery. So they provided the extension tube, the voltage and everything is, you know, it's all right to be used with an 18650. So that's how most people are going to use it. So that's how I'm going to demonstrate it and talk about it. That's how I've been using it. I have no personal experience with the 18350 batteries. I will in the future get some just to see how this light works in comparing it, you know, to the 18650. But if you want more specific information on all this kind of stuff, if you're super into flashlights, either you know it already or you can find that information over at candlepowerforums.com. But for the average person just getting this light, for all intent purposes, it runs on one 18650 or two CR123s. So now in general, it's always better to run on one cell as opposed to two different cells. So if you have the option, I would run it on one 18650 as opposed to two CR123s because it's a little bit of a safer situation as far as, you know, using lithiums. All right, so let's talk about the accessories. You got your paperwork here, everything you need to know about the light and its functions. You get the sheath, which is very nice quality. Of course, I mentioned this before. I am a fan of the Thrunite sheaths for their flashlights. However, in this particular case, if you're someone who uses these sheaths, please keep in mind that this one was designed to hold this light in the shorter version. Okay, so if you're going to be using this with the 18650 as opposed to the 18350s, in the longer format here, the sheath is not going to be able to be used. Okay, obviously it's a Velcro closure, it's just too long, it's not meant for it. Okay, so for some of you, you might be a little disappointed. This only works in the smaller version. Okay, besides that, you get your spare O-rings. So let's put all that stuff aside and talk about the light. So, yeah, it seems a little confusing with the battery stuff, but you know, everything set aside, I've been using this with a single 18650, and it is an awesome light. This is what I chose to keep in my car. It's my car light. Nice form factor. I like the metal button here. Something I want to mention as well is some of these newer models from Thrunite. To get to the turbo function, you have to hit the button twice. It's a quick double click. Okay, boom, boom. It's at its highest setting right now. Okay, which happens to be 1040 lumens. If you don't read your instructions, okay, whether it's on the website or the paperwork you get, if you don't read this, you will never get your high mode. because most people, without reading anything, would take this out of the package, put a battery in it, once they figure out what battery fits in it, turn it on, and they go, wow, you know, that's really bright. It is bright. It's 650 lumens. That is pretty damn bright. But they don't understand or know that you can bump that up to the turbo, which is 1040 lumens, okay? It's just something, it's kind of a hidden feature. Now, I don't know if this is a negative thing or a good thing. As far as a UI, it's definitely a little more complicated. If you were to hand this light to anyone, no one would know to double click that unless you read the instructions, okay? So it's a little buyer beware. If you're getting flashlights these days from all these different companies, you know, make sure you know how your settings work on your flashlight. In this particular model, it's a double click to get to your turbo, okay? Now the high mode 650 is great, but you're never gonna get the most out of your light, that biggest setting, unless you know to double click it. So anyway, if you just click it on once, okay, you know, of course it's gonna go through a cycle through the different modes. If you hold the button down, we'll cycle through, and I'll talk about it real quick as I catch a glimpse of it. So it goes high, medium, low, medium, high, medium, low. So it's ramping up and down through the modes, right? And you can stop at any mode. Let's do that again. Low, medium, high, medium, low. Okay, so now it's on low. I shut it off, I turn it back on, it's on low. So it has mode memory. If I want to keep it on medium, that's fine. Turn it off, turn it back on, medium. So that's a good thing, okay? But there's two hidden modes. And again, most people would have no idea unless, that's right, you read the instructions. And I'm a man, I barely read instructions, but particularly with gear, especially flashlights, I look at the paperwork. You know, I do throw it out, but I take a gander real quick. So the two hidden modes, of course, we already talked about turbo. Double click it, and it automatically goes to the turbo mode, which is 1040 lumens. But the other hidden mode is if, when the flashlight's off, you hold the button down. That's going to give you your moonlight mode. Okay, I'm very fond of this. I talked to this, you know, countless times with Thrunite lights. I love the moonlight mode. Okay, in this particular case, it's 0.1 lumens, and you get 90 days runtime. And one day I will do a test and see if that is accurate. You know, but not with this light. I didn't do that. So again, we have our three main, low, medium, high, and then our two hidden, turbo and moonlight. Okay. So, run times. Turn it on. Let's cycle through here again. Low. Low is going to be 11 lumens for 3 days. Okay, I'll have to take their word for that, because there's one thing I want to talk about as far as run times here. Bumping up to medium, 220 lumens for 5 hours. Okay. High, 650 lumens for 95 minutes. And then double click, of course, for turbo. 1040 lumens for 90 minutes. Now, let me say that again. The turbo mode is 1040 lumens for 90 minutes, but high, it drops down to 650 lumens for 95 minutes. I don't know, it seems strange to me that there is, what's the difference? 650 to 10 to 1040, 50 to 700, 350, 390 lumens, okay? So you get 390 lumens less and only 5 more minutes of runtime. I don't know why, it just seems strange to me. So I did test that particular mode out. Now, when I'm doing flashlight reviews and stuff, I don't always test every mode. I just don't have the time to do that. But when something seems weird like that, like there's such a big gap, 650 to 1040, it's only a 5-minute difference in runtime. So I did test that, and on high, I found that it got 119 minutes from a fully charged 18650. It is a Thrunite brand 18650, and it is their 2600 milliamp hour cell, and that got 119 minutes on the high mode, okay, to completely dead. So with my own testing, I found that it actually had a little bit better runtime than what was listed on the site, which was good news. But yeah, I mean, you can't always trust that stuff, and it's kind of like a guide. You know, you can't get a flashlight and be like, oh yeah, it's got like 300 lumens and it's got an hour and 20 minutes runtime, and then it shuts off in 40 minutes, and you're like, oh man, you know, they lied. It's supposed to be this. You know, no one really tests this stuff except specific flashlight enthusiasts. You know, the CPFers out there, the guys with the light boxes and the timers and the charts and all that kind of stuff. And that is awesome. If you're into the hobby, it is very cool what these people, you know, educate us all about on the forums. But, you know, for the average user, it's kind of like whatever. Hey, is it going to last me like at least an hour? I'm going to need it for about an hour. stuff like that. But occasionally, you know, if you're into your flashlights, test them. You know, see how accurate the estimated times are. But anyway, I mean, that's pretty much it with this one. I like the diversity here, of course, from 0.1 lumens all the way up to just over 1,000 lumens. Gives me the diversity I need. We will hop outside real quick and I will show you a beam shot of this at night, just so you get a general idea of how this reflector is working, you know, what your beam shot is as far as like spread and stuff. But you know, overall, I really like this light. That's why I keep it in the car. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, so I'm outside and I want to do a quick beam shot for you. It is cold and it is windy. But anyway, double tap automatically goes to our highest output here. Alright, so you guys have seen, if you follow my flashlight reviews, you've seen me use this background specifically for a bunch of different views, and that's so you can compare these flashlights directly to each other. Alright, I have a bench out there. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. Okay, that bench is a good point to kind of compare. Zooming all the way out, you can see it's actually it's a semi-narrow beam. I wouldn't say it has a lot of spill. Of course, it's lighting up the entire area out where that bench is. Now, the difference between what I'm seeing in person and what you guys are seeing is I'm seeing a little bit more light to the left side of your screen and a little to the right. So it is a little bit more spill than what you're viewing, at least what I'm seeing that you're seeing through my viewfinder on the camera. But anyway, I'm going to hold down that button, go into medium. Okay, you see the slight drop here. Pan back and forth. And then hold it again. Alright, so you guys see the difference here. Still plenty of light for most tasks. I can't see anyone, go back into high here. I can't see anyone really needing more light than this to do anything on most properties, unless you're out in a farm trying to light up your field. This is sufficient light for pretty much anything you want to do outside. And what's nice is that, of course, on the lower modes, you don't get too much reflection back off the walls if you want to do something on the inside. But anyway, just want to give you some beam shots here. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.